Hello and welcome to the very first edition of the French Horn Rescue YouTube Live Talks. So, if you are new here, I used to do these talks once per week on my Facebook page, and I think this makes a little bit more sense for us to do them here on YouTube. That way, more people can join. It's a little bit easier, and I can actually see the comments and things that are coming through. So yeah, guys, the really cool thing about these talks is that you guys actually got to decide the content of what I'm going to be talking about today. So I put in a poll in my Facebook group, and if you're not a member of my Facebook group, it's facebook.com, and then you go to the French Horn Rescue group and just request to join, and I will allow you in as soon as you answer all of the questions that are there for you to go ahead and take part in. And I put out a poll, and I had a few choices, and you guys wanted to talk about accuracy. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I do already have a YouTube video about this, and so some of the stuff that you see here might actually be repeat of what you have already seen. However, I've actually even learned a few other things that I want to share with you guys, and some stuff that I was doing that I didn't mention in that previous video. So you'll probably learn something either way from being here. So the first thing that I want to go ahead and start with is, for me, I'm most accurate when I'm not thinking about accuracy. And you're probably thinking like, Luke, that's crazy. What do you mean you got to think about hitting the note to actually get the note? Well, here's the thing. There's multiple levels to accuracy. So there's the accuracy of just hitting the note. That is true. And there's also the accuracy of your articulation. There's the accuracy of your pitch in terms of intonation. There's the accuracy of your phrasing. There's the accuracy of your dynamics. So what I find helpful is actually to go ahead and think about one of those things. So let's say your articulation. So let's say that you want to have a nice accent on the beginning of the note. Da! And if you focus more on that, if you focus on just getting that ping that you want at the beginning of the note, rather than hitting the note itself, you'll see it's kind of like a pyramid. And so like hitting the note is up here, and then like there's all these other qualities, all these other elements down here of music that we want to get. You can't have accuracy of articulation without having the accuracy of the note. You see what I'm saying? So if you have the accuracy of the articulation, the note's obviously going to be there. And if you have the accuracy of the dynamic level that you want, then the note is going to be there. So this just goes into another point that I made, is that whenever you're playing, before you go to play, you're going to really increase the chances of your success if you hear the note as clearly as possible before you play it, with all of those other characteristics of music that we want, with the pitch that we want, that's a given, like as I was just saying, with the articulation we want, with that dynamic that we want, and then with the phrasing that we want as we go through the phrase that we are actually doing. And with the those are the big ones, dynamic, sound, intonation, the tone that you want as well, sound, intonation, rhythm, again, the rhythmic accuracy that you want, if it's particularly rhythmic. So all of these things are going to help you to be more accurate than if you were just saying, oh God, please let me hit this note. You see, so if you have the intention of actually doing all these things, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to play accurately. So that's the first thing, is try to focus on something other than accuracy and see what that does for you. Of course, there's no like 100% rule. Like everybody misses notes, of course, even if you listen to some of the greatest players in the world. I mean, I really encourage you to go to an international horn symposium at some point. Take a listen to all of the best players in the world. You'll hear them back to back on several consecutive nights. Every single one of them will miss notes. I can pretty much guarantee that, at least one. I've heard people who have placed in really placed first in really prestigious competitions, who were esteemed soloists and miss notes. It happens to everybody. It's about being convincing, which is, again, kind of like we're getting into a little bit of more of a philosophical discussion, but everybody's going to miss notes, right? And it's about being convincing rather than being perfect. But if you do want to increase the accuracy as much as possible, just really try that. Really just try to get something accurate besides the hitting of the note. So that's the first thing. And then along with that, I mean, if you guys aren't already using solfege, I'm a huge believer in solfege. I still do it to this day. If you take a look at any of my orchestral music and my solo music, especially, you'll see I'll write in solfege syllables over the tops of my music if I'm having trouble hearing something, or if I miss something. If I miss something and it was because I wasn't hearing it, if I put the solfege above it and I go to do it the next time, it's going to be better the next time, right? So that is something that I find really helpful for myself. So I like movable do solfege. I know there's some people who are really into fixed do. Whatever works for you. You know, if you find fixed do to be helpful, then use it. If you find movable do to be useful, I mean that's kind of what horn players like ancestrally we've grown up on, right? Because the natural horn, it was always written in C, so C was always do. So you can think it, like when you're transposing, I find it much more useful to do that. So that's one thing that you can do. And then the second thing is if you have a what I've developed is these sort of like cheat codes that I have, right? It's like if I know that I want to play an E flat, I'll think of the opening of check 4. So I'll have openings or parts of music that start in specific notes. That's another way to really get the note locked into my head if I don't have a great reference point from the music leading up to it, especially. If I do, then especially if there's cues written in, I mean, you should know the music well enough where you know what pitch is going to be is being played, or at least what key you're in before you start to play. But even if not, if you have that reference point in your head, this is what people with perfect pitch, I mean, do without actually realizing it. You know, they just have those pitches in their heads, and so you can actually do that too. So again, opening a check 4 is a good one to think of an E flat, written E flat for us. If you want to think of a G, opening of the Beethoven Sonata or opening of Till Eulenspiegel, right? Or a lot of the time, if I want to think of the C in the staff, I'll think dum da dum. That's our C, right? That's opening of Beethoven Sonata, right? So that's another thing that you can do to help with the accuracy. So a couple of other things, and these are actually taken. The rest of these are going to be from my guide to the accuracy guide that I made, 4 quick tips to improve your accuracy. If you want a copy of that, just comment down below, and I can go ahead and send that to you. So the next one that I'll go over is you really need to make a count in the practice room, and it's a little bit different than just say repping it 5 times in a row, like I have talked about in different videos, but that's all good. However, I find it's more useful to be a little bit more thoughtful with it. And especially one thing that I find particularly helpful is putting on a recording, and just if I can do it a couple times with the recording where I actually make myself count through all the rest and I play it successfully, maybe 2 or 3 times in a row, I'm going to feel pretty good about my chances when I step on stage, right? Because I've already done it. I felt the music. I felt everything else that's going on, and I just go ahead and do it. And I find that more useful to actually put some thought into it and just really make it a little bit more like you're actually playing the thing when you're sitting down than just repping it a bunch of times in a row, especially if you're not breathing the same way that you would. So if you are doing that, I recommend that you take the horn off of your face, breathe, play it with the breathing that you are going to be playing it, and then if it's a short breath, then practice it with a short breath, right? So all of these things are going to contribute to you actually being more accurate. So if you're just more focused and you're taking a little bit more time, it's going to be even better for you than if you were just like mindlessly looping something a bunch of times in a row. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Okay. So you guys, that pretty much actually covers everything. I didn't realize the first maybe 5-10 minutes of that were the most important parts. And I actually covered a few other things that I wanted to say in there. So yeah, guys, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today. We'll keep these nice and short on the 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how many people are here and commenting and everything. So just please, if you found this helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe. And yeah, just when you're in your accuracy phase, it's very easy to just be like, I really want to hit this note, step away from that. Just so first of all, just say to yourself, I don't need to hit this note. I want to, I believe I'm going to, but I don't need it. As soon as you feel like I just need to play this well, it doesn't go well, generally speaking. So that just allows you to open your hands and just really to just be more chill, and it's going to happen more naturally that way. And then focus on something besides accuracy that's going to really increase your chances of doing things well. And just really focus on hearing the note and also the exact way that you want it to go as clearly as possible in your head before you go ahead and dive into whatever it is that you're playing. So, all right, guys, cool. I hope that you found this helpful. And again, please like and subscribe if you did, and check out, I did another video on accuracy earlier, so you can check out that one too. And all right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.